What is happening, guys? It is your boy Brad here with a video of my reaction and player ratings for the game the other day against Wolves. Now, I'm really sorry that I've not been posting over the last week. It's been a really busy week for me this week, running around doing stuff. It's not been a week where I've been able to sit down and make a video about my team at the moment. But here I am today with a reaction and a player ratings for the Wolves game, as well as talking about last week's games against Leeds and Molde. So first of all, let's go into the Leeds game. It was let me say this, we could have got absolutely smashed in that Leeds game. We could have got absolutely smashed. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, but the Pepe sending off was definitely a sending off. Shouldn't have lent his head in when he did, and we could have got absolutely battered. But then Saka had the chance to win it, and he fumbled his lines. So yeah, that was the Leeds game just wrapped up there. Molde, comfortable evening, 3-0 victory. Pepe getting a goal, Nelson, and Balogun with his first ever goal for the club. Pretty routine evening. Now on to Sunday. Oh my God, where the fuck do I start with this? 3 home games now without a win. That's how many games we've lost at home in a row. 3 league games in a row. Leicester City lose 1-0 thanks to a late Jamie Vardy goal. 3-0 against Aston Villa. In probably the worst performance I've ever seen this season and under Mikel Arteta. And now we lose 2-1 at home to Wolves. Where the fuck do I start? It was literally boring from minute one. From minute one, oh my God, I could have just fell asleep throughout the whole thing. It was so boring, so lethargic, so slow. The attack play was poor, the defending was poor. Everything about it was just absolutely poor. And I mean, I love Mikel Arteta, but right now, this is not good form, and this is worrying times as an Arsenal fan. Now, I know most of you are probably going to be asking, why are you Mikel Arteta out or in? I'm neither at the moment. But look, I'm Mikel Arteta in, but I'm not going to jump straight onto the Mikel Arteta out bandwagon that's been banded around. But it is worrying times, and something needs to change, and fast, because this is worrying times, and it's just not been good enough. The service, creativity has been poor, sideways, backwards, boring, lethargic football. Aubameyang's starved of goals. Can't really rely on him too much for goals. It's just silly. Can't be just a one-man squad, which the way we're playing, we feel like we are, but we're not. We're not a one-man team. We need players that are going to step up and actually be accounted for Arsenal, instead of just coming to games and playing like that. Playing lethargic, slow, meaningless football. And I mean, I've seen this before under Unai Emery. I've seen it under Arsene Wenger. It's just a joke. The sideways football is just boring. It doesn't create anything. It doesn't create clear-cut chances. And I mean, Wolves, they dominated the first half. And definitely deserved to go in 2-1. And we came out in the second half, and it was just like same kind of football, boring, sideways, lethargic. When Wolves were dropping back and being defensive. Wolves played for the 2-1 win and played on the counter-attack, and they could have scored more, but we held off, and yeah, we didn't concede more, which was surprising, really, but we had some chances in the second half. I mean, Rob Holding, he should have scored that header, but he put it over the bar. And deliveries from crosses, it's just not good enough. I mean, I've seen some of the balls that have been put into the box. Williams' cross for Gabriel's goal was right on the money, and that's exactly what we need. But players like Nelson and that, they just can't cross and beat the first man. And I mean, on corners as well, couldn't beat the first man. It was like, what? What were I watching? I was watching my team literally div back into the Wenger era and the Emery era when we were just playing boring, sideways, lethargic football. And now, let me jump into my player ratings. Starting goal, Bernd Leno. And I mean, the first goal was a bit Well, it wasn't actually the first goal. It was the second goal, I think, that were a bit suspect. Because it took a little deflection off Bellerin, and Leno could have easily held it, but instead he palmed it out, and Podence ran to the ball, skipped over Gabriel's challenge, and then slotted it into the net for 2-1. But the first one, even that was a bit suspect, because the way the defence did not push out and get to the ball first and boot it away was literally ridiculous. And Leno did have a chance with a goal, so I'm giving him a 5. Bellerin, oh my god, where the fuck do I start with this guy? Backwards football at its finest. If you want backwards compatibility, just put Hector Bellerin on the pitch. It was all game. He was backwards, sideways, crossing was poor, he couldn't get down the wing, he couldn't overlap round the winger, he was poor. 0. Bang on 0. Next to him, David Luiz, should he have come off when the head injury happened and I sent my speedy. Let me rephrase that. Raul Jimenez suffered what looked like a really gruesome injury, and it was fractured skull. And luckily enough, he's okay in hospital, and he's had surgery on it. So hopefully we wish him a speedy recovery. But David Luiz, should he have come off when it happened? But everyone was saying that he should have done, in terms of the concussions protocol, that footballers should not have the final say, it should be the doctors. And I agree with that, because you've got to think about the safety of your players, and the well-being and that of the player. But he wanted to continue, and and even you saw with the bandaging that there was blood seeping through where the cut was at the top of his head. But really, I for the first half performance, I can only grade him a 5, because he didn't really do much. Gabriel, next. My God. This man, I mean, he has been an absolute steal for 27 million. I mean, give him a centre-back partner that will actually help him and will actually upgrade his quality, because literally he is brilliant. That header, he had 4 players round him. He had 4 players marking him, and yet he still towered above everyone and nobbled it into the net. But it was our slack defending that cost us, and everyone was probably blaming Gabriel for the second, where he could have stayed on his feet and probably done better, but you can't really blame Gabriel for that, so I'm giving Gabriel a 7. Kieran Tierney on the other side on the left did okay, but didn't really get forward enough. You didn't see those usual swing balls into the box that he usually plays. And he got skinned for the first goal by Adama Traore, so for me, it's a standard 5 for me for Kieran Tierney. I don't think he was brilliant, I don't think he was good, but it's a standard 5 performance for me. Now on to another midfielder that is exactly the same as Hector Bellerin. His name is Granit Xhaka, and that is the Granit Xhaka of old. That was the performance of the Granit Xhaka of old. Literally, sideways, backwards, slow on the ball, couldn't release it fast enough. That was poor. That was shit. 0. Dani Ceballos next, and again, going back to the Dani Ceballos of old, before he actually turned his form around at the end of the season, that made everyone think, oh, we've got the new creative, generalised midfielder. But no. That's exactly why he doesn't get in the Real Madrid side. That's why Real Madrid loaned him out to us. Because of that. Crap performances like that. And that was really, really poor by Dani Ceballos today. I'll give him a 2. I'll give him a 2 just for putting his kit the right way. On the right, Willian. Now, he was probably the best outfield, as in, forward player for us. Created the goal. Had some good moments, so I give him a 7. Pretty decent performance. Saka, now, you can't really go in at him too much. Oh, that's one person I forgot. Joe Willock. I mean, Joe Willock's first half performance was shocking, but then in the second half, sorry about that. And he was the only player that was actually trying in that second half, trying to create things and trying to run at defenders and draw fouls, etc. But it was just not, to me, it wasn't good enough, so I give him a 5 just for the second half performance. Right, on to Saka. Now, it's unfair to criticise the youngsters for when we lose games. You should look at the more experienced players like Oba and such like to try and get us through games like that are hard games. But Saka today, not good at all. Not a good performance at all. I'm going to give him a 4. I'm sorry, but that's just the way I see it. Subs, Holding came off for 45 minutes. Didn't really do much except call Adama Traore a shithouse and saying that he was built like a brick shithouse and he's going down like a sack of spuds, which was really funny. You could audibly hear it as well. But again, not really going to grade him much. I'm going to give him a 5. Nelson, his crossing needs to improve. He needs to improve his crossing. He does everything else right, dribbling, taking on players, etc., speed. But the final delivery, the final piece, the little tiny piece, little ball across the box, not good enough. 4. And who's the final sub? Lacazette didn't even have much time, so I'm going to give him a 5. Straight down the middle, 5. Manager rated today, I'm going to give him a 1. A 1. Team lineup was okay. I wasn't complaining about the lineup. It's just the way that we played it. That whole game. Boring, lethargic, backwards, sideways. Absolute garbage performance. And I'm sorry, I love Mikel Arteta, but when you gotta criticise, you've gotta criticise. When you praise him, you praise him. When you criticise, you criticise. It's as simple as that. Every manager deserves to be criticised. And I mean, Liverpool fans, they criticise Klopp when he loses. I mean, Atalanta at home, you should be beating them, but they lost 2-0. But yeah, it wasn't the best of performances. And Thursday we've got Rapid Vienna at home, where the fans will be returning. 2,000 fans are expected in there on Thursday. And then we've got White Hart Lane against Spurs. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I think we're going to get... I don't know what to think about that, but for me, I think Spurs are going to be just that bit too strong for us, and I think we're going to play a bit more defensive than we have been doing over the past couple of games. So, that is it for this video. So, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, go down below, give us some positive feedback, hit the thumbs up. Till next time, ciao, adios, guys.